I'm Berni Xiong, Life Spark with Berni Xiong LLC at bernixiong.com. Today is Monday, October 17th, 2011, and this is episode 38 of Get a Life Spark. All right, folks, it has been a long while since the last video blog, and I apologize for that. I know I was having some video fail a couple weeks ago, and prior to that, I did have an announcement that I said I would share within future video blogs. And so with that, I'm just going to get right into it. As you can tell, the backdrop is different, and that's because this weekend I just completed my physical move from my secret location when I was away on my hiatus, and I've returned to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Loving the new place, and I'm absolutely loving being back here in my wonderful city and the community that I just absolutely adore. So with that, this week we're going to be talking about realizing your goals. Obviously, because it is a perfect segue from the last video blog discussion we had. Actually, it wasn't the last, it was the one from September 19th, episode 36, in which I talked about serendipity. I talked about how in one day 3 serendipitous moments happened for me, and I shared it with you excitingly. And one of the events I did not completely share with you because I was waiting for it to happen. And as you see here, this is exactly the result of that last serendipitous moment. So if you recall, I talked about how there was a final thing that I was waiting to get news on so that I could get back to you and let you know that I was able to use deliberate intention, take action, and have a goal realized for me. And the goal was I was trying to get this apartment that I'm currently in. And when I had originally applied for this apartment when I originally set out to apply for this apartment back in early September, I was told that there were no vacancies and that a unit would not be available until spring of 2012. I was disappointed because I absolutely fell in love with this place. But nonetheless, I did take further action, and I looked for alternate options to see if there was something else I could do in the meantime, and perhaps try to see if I could get into this place in the spring. And to my pleasant surprise, upon applying to another apartment not too far from here, back over by Lake Michigan, I just had received my lease to sign for that other unit when I got a phone call that very day I would have submitted that lease contract. And this property told me that there was an apartment available for me. They had me on the waiting list. So it was around September that I was telling you that I would have some news, because I was crossing my fingers and my toes, and I just knew that with the intention that I set out, the goals that I have, ambitious or not, and with the action that I took deliberately, I knew in my mind and in my heart that everything would turn out just the way I had hoped and planned, and that I would manifest this for me. And here I am. I just moved in this weekend. We'll get into another discussion about the whole process in which it took forever to have everything finally approved. However, here I am, and it's all squared away. And the reason I really wanted to share with you and to really kind of give you a background on that story is because I'll be honest with you, during that time, I was, teetering back and forth between, okay, I know in my mind and in my heart this is going to happen, but, just what if, and there's that slight, little piece of doubt that we often have. They call it like the little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And I feel as though we're always going to struggle with those two voices that we hear, if you will. And the more positive voice will keep telling you, be optimistic, be hopeful, it's going to work out for you. And that voice I usually try to listen to. And when you're not feeling your best, or when you're talking to other people, or when you're just in a mode where you just can't be positive and optimistic at that moment in time, you get that little devil on your shoulder saying, but what if it doesn't work out? And what were you thinking? How could you think this was going to work out for you? That happened quite a bit to me too, over the past couple of weeks when everything was pending. And so, the importance in me sharing all of this with you is to let you know you're going to have your tough days. You're going to have your days you're not your best. And you might find yourself to be hopeful and optimistic most of the time. But I'm not naive to think that we don't have those moments, like I still do at times, where we do kind of have that question of doubt in our minds. And we do ask ourselves, what were we thinking all this time? It reminds me of my last video blog from the 26th of September when I talked about being authentic. In that blog, if you missed it, I talked about how, a lot of the times we hear voices of other people, whether it's family, friends, confidants, advisors, mentors, your significant other, your children, or whatnot, where they feed you with their truth. They feed you with their opinions and their perspective on things, because what they're doing is they're thinking about your situation by internalizing it and considering their perspective, their viewpoint on it. And when they provide you the information and feedback that they want to give you, they're really trying to help and support you for the most part. They really want what's best for you. They want things to work out in your best interest, but they don't want you, for the most part, to get your hopes up, to become hurt, to become, I guess, to be put in a tough spot that they can't help you out of. And so a lot of the times, your closest friends and family and confidants might be the ones who will be your worst critics, in addition to yourself. And so we need to balance that feedback and that insight that we receive from people, obviously, because if your belief system isn't strong enough and you listen to everything everybody around you tells you, when are you ever going to own your own power and have the responsibility to make decisions based on what you want and what you need and what you have to do, right? And so it's about balancing this information and feedback from everybody around you, which is great. You take the good, you take the bad. Sometimes you don't know what the good or bad is. You just have to use discernment to understand what's the best piece of advice to take from each of these people for each of these situations you'll deal with. But then on top of that, again, like I said in episode 36, you've really got to know who you are. You really have to understand your authentic self in order to be able to say, okay, based on what so-and-so said, and here's my belief system, what can I do to incorporate these two things together and then form an even stronger belief system, but at least I have a foundation from which to start. And the foundation is your authentic self. That is your belief in who you are, what you stand for, what you bring to this world, and why you even exist, your meaning and purpose in life, right? We may think that it's we dive so deep and we talk about this discussion, and sometimes we just don't want to deal with it. It's a little bit too much. It's a little too heavy, right? But when are we going to deal with it? When are we going to deal with it? This is life. Every single day is a gift. Every present moment is a gift that you have to live more intentionally, to take deliberate action for the things that you want, and then to allow these things to manifest like I have with this beautiful apartment that I was able to get when the odds were against me. And so what I really want to leave you with is give you some steps that might be able to help you as you're going through this process, just like me. I really want to achieve this goal. I've set the intention. I've taken deliberate action. Now I'm kind of playing the waiting game, but how do I get myself to stay in this right mindset so that I don't freak myself out and so that I'm not counterproductive with the way I think and the things that I do? I wrote a free special report that you can take off of my website, yourlifespark.com, and it's 20-some pages long, and I write about, I'm sorry, it's only about 9 pages long actually, and I write about how there are 5 passion-sucking mistakes that we make in life, work, and love that holds us back from having the life that we want. And so the topic I talked about today really closely ties with the fourth passion-sucking mistake, which is when we establish a mindset that holds us back. And so the steps I really want to give you, the tools I want to leave you with today, is that when you are starting to feel as though you've established a mindset, or you are establishing a mindset that tells you you're not good enough, it's not going to work out, and you're judging yourself in the situation, and it's becoming negative self-talk, what you need to do is to remind yourself, when I have achieved things, I'll give you an example, this apartment, I'm here. This is living proof that I manifested something for me. That should say a lot to me. So given that, what do I need to remind myself about how I got here to realize this goal for me? And if I put myself back in that mindset and continue to keep repeating that mindset and keeping this momentum going, I will only continue to keep pushing away that negative mindset, letting forth the positive mindset come in, and moving forward and continuing to intention things, taking deliberate action, and realizing even greater things than this. This was a great thing, but there are even greater things we can manifest for ourselves. And so the way to do that is to reignite your passion, okay? I was so passionate about having a sanctuary. Obviously, I work from home and at cafes and whatnot. So it was very important for me to find a place that I would live that I could also work and feel at peace and feel as though I'm my best and the energy is amazing and positive. And so in my mind, I set out to have a sanctuary to allow me to do that because I'm so passionate about my coaching. I'm so passionate about helping people. And I'm so passionate about being excited to wake up every single morning without an alarm clock. I do not have an alarm clock. And this morning, I just woke up at 6:30 a.m., just out of the blue, and I went about my day. But I get excited every morning to do this because I love what I do. And I love being able to do video blogs like this. I love being able to provide information and share my insight with you, share my stories with you, share stories of my clients with you so that I can help you to achieve the life that you want. And when I think about all of these things and how having a beautiful, lovely apartment like this would enable me to continue to keep carrying on that meaning and purpose that I have in life, that only excited me more inside. I was that burning, wonderful energy in me was just beaming out of me, and it pushed that negative mindset away that said, Bernie, there's no doubt you're going to get this place, okay? It may be pending, things may be difficult right now, may be challenging, it might even seem unlikely you're going to do this, and you're going to get it. Be positive. You set forth this intention and this goal. You've taken deliberate action. All you need to do now is just receive it and believe that it's going to happen for you, and it did. So with that said, reignite your passion. Think about what excites you when you have set that intention and you set that goal. Then you take deliberate action, like I said, and when the waiting game happens, keep that mindset positive and allow yourself to manifest that goal and intention for you. All right, folks, that's it for today. Happy Monday. Have a beautiful, lovely week here in Milwaukee. It's about 50s, but it's still gorgeous. The sun is shining, and I'm going to venture out and have a blast back in my old neighborhood, which is my new neighborhood now that I've been gone for several months. But anyway, make it great, you guys, and thank you so much for chiming in. I look forward to seeing you soon. Again, for that passion sucking mistakes report and how to get your life back, go to yourlifespark.com. Otherwise, you know where to find me to leave your comments, questions, feedback at bernixiong.com. Talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.